What up, my RC dolls and dudes? Peep that, peep that. What? New pant goofing. Okay. This will not be really RC related. This is a tutorial on some lymphatic drainage for the face and neck and décolleté. First, we always start with clean hands and then we cleanse our face. I have makeup on a little bit. Had a tattoo client today, so I'll put a little makeup on. Someone's phone is talking. I use a creamy cleanse for my first cleanse. It is a gentle cleanser. It is very good at removing makeup, dirt, debris, environmental debris. Helps combat free radicals. If you do not know what free radicals are, I can do a dive into exactly what free radicals are. All the commercials about everything. Oh, free radicals. But do we really know what they are? And once you know what they are, you don't want free radicals at all whatsoever. You want to try and combat that as much as you can. You only want to use a type of exfoliating cleanser 1 to 2 times a week. Your skin barrier is made up of dead skin cells, your sebum, and it protects your skin. Our skin is a giant organ. It is absorptive, and it absorbs everything around us, everything that you're touching. Me leaning on this table, it is absorbing whatever is on this table. So I clean it, everything. So you don't want to break that barrier with too much abrasiveness. It is a protective layer, and once you have broken it, it's really hard to restore that skin barrier, and we break out more when that skin barrier is broken. So trying to recover from a broken skin barrier is hard because you're breaking out, so you are naturally using more active products or exfoliating, trying to knock out that breakout, when actually what you should be doing is just trying to restore and heal the skin with just gentle, mild products for at least a week or 2, depending on your age and your cellular turnover. Some people have been built up their cellular turnover and they can exfoliate every day. Most people have never really exfoliated in their life, so they need to take it slow with the exfoliation. Okay, so when I do my manual lymphatic drainage, usually you want to have an oil. You can do it dry, but it just feels a little bit better when you have an oil or a slip, a medium on the skin. There's like CBD face oil. You can even use a body oil if you have one that's rated for the face. You can use that. If you have an oil cleanser, you can use an oil cleanser as well as a type of slip and medium. When we start our manual lymphatic drainage, one thing you have to realize is that everything is connected, and you need to open up your lymph nodes, especially if you are having a type of blockage anywhere in the face. So how we start that is we start in the axilla. There's a lymph node in the underarm. It's right in here. Usually you can feel it. It's a little ball. And you want to do some light pressure. You don't want to be too hard digging into the skin. You don't want to be too light. You just kind of want to see the skin come up and move with it. And you want more of the pressure to be in a downward motion and light on the lifting up, because we want everything to go in towards the heart. So you lift your arm up and you do a couple rotations within the underarm, and then the other side. Can find it in there. And they say that if you go like this and you have a poof in your underarm, that your lymph nodes obviously are clogged and something is going on. So I want to start there, and then we're going to move into the lymph nodes in the chest down into the axillas, and it starts in the clavicle and kind of runs down right along here. And so again, you're just going to use light movements when you're doing this. This is the time where I like to apply a little bit of oil and slip and glide. What am I going to use? Probably use some Epicutis, since this is a cleanser as well. Just go ahead and apply oil down. You can also use a gua sha tool if you have one. Some people swear, but if you do not have a gua sha tool, your hands will work perfectly fine. If you were going to use this, you want to use the side, not too much pressure, and it would just be more of a glide and a push down if you had your tool. If you didn't have a tool, you would just go ahead and use your fingers to run over, which I prefer to use my fingers, especially when I'm getting in here, because running this over my neck bone, my clavicle, is a little bit painful. So go ahead and bring it down. Sometimes you can kind of feel that fluid moving towards where you're going. So towards there, I'm going to come here. They're just little tiny lymph nodes all along here. And your lymph nodes actually do not have a pump system. It runs alongside your circulatory system, so the only way to get your lymphatic system to flow and move is to get your heart rate up and your circulatory system going. So jumping jacks, things like that. And then we can start to move up to the neck. Right in here, we have a couple of lymph nodes right in here. Before we start moving to the jawline and the mandible, we're going to go ahead and open these lymph nodes up. And then we will start working the bottom of the face, come up to the face, and then we will finish draining everything down. I always want to work from the top down to the bottom. Make sure you drain everything afterwards. It's very important. You can really mess up your lymphatic system if you are pushing things in the wrong way. I'm just going to apply oil over my face. And you don't want to leave it half done. So right behind the ears, right here. I like to do a couple circles and then push it down the neck. gentle, light strokes. Very relaxing. Okay. And then we can take your fingers like this, like you're gonna pinch, and start along the jaw, and then slide down along the jaw, up right back to that lymph node, and then bring it down. Even if you wanted to, you can come right here to the lymph node, give it a little shake, and then bring it down. Do this a couple times, bring it down, and then we can move up to the next parts of the face. You can just bring it right here to the back, to the front of the ear. You can do the same thing with the fingers if you wanted to. And bring it up to the face. Do a couple of these, and then bring it back down behind the ear and down the neck. Do this a couple times. And when you're doing it, you can really feel the lymphatic fluid. If you want to, you're really feeling it, you can bring it all the way down. All the way down. Right by the crow's feet, right here. And just use these fingers, lighter pressure, and just push back towards the hairline, moving up with the forehead. And then you can bring her down to the back and down the neck. Gentle movements into the hairline. Forehead, you can even get by those eyebrows, right in that corrugator. Lift up, and then bring it all the way across the face, back down behind the ear, down the neck, down the décolleté, into the axilla. Look, you can see one side compared to the other. Isn't that crazy? All right, onto the other side. And that's why you don't want to leave it half done, not fully finished. Walking around looking crazy. And down and down and down into my cheeks. Right here, the zygomatics. Down. Feels nice. Feels very, very, very nice. Right here, up into the hairline. Remember, light movements, it doesn't need to be super hard pressure. Just enough to lift the skin up just a little bit. Bring it around, behind the ear, down the neck, and down the décolleté to the axilla. Get into that corrugator. And down. One more time. That is how I do that. If you wanted to, you could slug like this for like 30 minutes. Just leave the oil on. Oil attracts oil, and then you can cleanse your face. I don't like the way it sits, so I'm gonna go ahead and cleanse it off. I'm gonna do another creamy cleanse. To take it off, I have serum and my moisturizer to top it off for bed. So, yeah, that's how I do my manual lymphatic facial drainage when I'm feeling poofy in areas. What you think? Well, thanks for stopping by. That was fun. I don't know much about RC cars, but I know a lot about skin. So, thanks for stopping by.